How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massive Beer Reviews, back with a little Bolero Snort up in this piece in the form of their Berlinerweisse. This is their blueberry and tangerine version, 4.9%. Yeah, this comes courtesy of my boy Dan from Jersey. Thank you very much, homie. He dropped a bunch of beers off, dropped a bunch off, but there were a few of these kind of Berliner jams from Bolero Snort. It's been a while since I've had one of them, and I've reviewed one so far. And even though these will all go up at the same time, most likely, spoiler alert, the first one was fucking fantastic. So I'm really excited to dive into this sucker. I don't think there's story time on this. We'll just give it a pour, see what she's got. As you can see, the label is kind of playing Miami Vice, although gives me more kind of Outrun vibes than Miami Vice vibes. Outrun would be a video game for those kids that don't know, which, you know, when arcades were really arcades, that's where Outrun kind of comes in. Even for a game, what was Outrun on? N64? Was that on SNES or just Nintendo? I don't know. Video game systems. Genesis. Let's go Genesis for fun. Yeah. So, can ain't too shabby. For you date Nazis out there, I can't tell. Anyway, yeah, looks like a berry beer. Rich, kind of berry, kind of organic, kind of berry in color. It doesn't have this kind of neon vibrance to it. Little tight, compact head, and nothing close to creamy. It just kind of looks like one of those fruited Berliners, but it doesn't look like a fruit smoothie kind of beer. It looks more like kind of a fruit-laden Berliner more than anything else. Let's get in the nose. There's an acidity to it. And the acidity definitely falls in the realm of the fruit portion or so. So you're getting that blueberry. But there's a slight vinegar vibe to it that kind of makes me kind of worried on it, because you get that blueberry, you get a little bit of soft citrus, you get kind of like almost a fruit medley that's leaning very heavily, but then there's this sour tartness, acidic portion of the show that goes beyond the citrus thing, that goes beyond the kettle thing, that gets a little bit kind of white vinegar, not even like apple cider vinegar, like white vinegar. So that kind of has me a little bit kind of worried. And that's pretty much it. Sweetness, tartness, acidity, because that word is hard to say, and that little bit of fruit coming in. Let's dive in. Cheers. That's Fun Dip. Tastes like Fun Dip. You remember Fun Dip, right? Do they still make Fun Dip? I mean, that's definitely not a COVID dessert or treat or candy or cake or whatever you want to call it. So, Fun Dip is like the ghetto crack version of Pixie Sticks. So Pixie Sticks, for those who don't know, was basically somebody's genius delivery system for getting sugar into a kid's body as fast as humanly possible. And by that I mean they're just basically like straws, crimped ends, you break off the end, you just dump a bunch of sugar in your mouth. That's how we rolled back in the 80s, man. That some saucy bastard decided to get all kind of hoity-toity, but at the same time really fucking ghetto, and said, well, Pixie Sticks are more kind of like, I don't know, not my speed. How could I possibly find a delivery system that gives the children all the sugar or belong to us, but prolongs the experience a little bit longer? Because Pixie Sticks were kind of like an all or nothing thing. In, boom, done. It's like, you know, snorting a line of Coke instead of just whatever the slower version of Coke is. I have no idea. So Fun Dip, you got this sugar stick. So think of like a tongue depressor from your doctor, but quite thick, but it was made out of white hard sugar candy. It wasn't even candy. It was just compressed, like, I don't know, injection molded fucking candy sugar. And then you take that candy stick and then you open a packet and you dip it in, you pull the Fun Dip out, and then you put it in your mouth. You shovel it in your mouth on this Pixie Stick or in this tongue depressor type stick. That's what this tastes like. Because there's this huge sweet component that comes off, like, if you put, why do I make these analogies? Because I can make it real simple. So, take your berry Kool-Aid powder, and instead of using water, use grapefruit juice. It's essentially what you're getting in here. So they're talking about tangerine, comes off more like grapefruit juice for me. They're talking about blueberry, comes off more just like booberry instead of blueberry. And a very sweet beer, but at the same time, you get this big tartness. That white vinegar thing that I was getting on the nose does not follow through in the taste whatsoever, so don't worry about that. But you do get a little cheek pulliness in there. And it's a fun beer. Listen, it's akin to a lot of those kind of huge, kind of soupy, kind of, fruit smoothie beers out there. But it lends itself being more drinkable. And just, I don't know, something a little bit more kind of reminiscent of what I had in my childhood. I didn't grow up with Jamba Juice or anything like that. I grew up with shitty Pixie Sticks and fucking Fun Dip. And that's where this one kind of lands for me, and it kind of gives me those memories. Now you're talking about, Berlinerweisse, Bolero, Snort, doing the whole 80s thing on here. It kind of makes sense. It pulls at my heartstrings, so I kind of dig it. Viscerally, though, it's just kind of not as fantastical as as that other one I had. I forget what it was. It was one of these, but it was more kind of yellow fruit leaning as opposed to a little bit richer kind of berry fruit leaning. But it's a fun beer. And listen, it is what it is. It's not making any kind of excuses for what it wants to be and what it is. It's a fun beer, tasty beer that's chuggable, drinkable, and reminds me of my childhood. That does not suck. Is it one of the better ones of these I've had as of late? Is definitely in the running. But like I said, even the other one was a little bit more my speed. Value availability? No idea. Dan, let us know what's what, and leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like the 80s Fun Dip, Pixie Sticks, and all kinds of weird drug analogies, then you will like this beer. So there you go. Losing my voice. I was screaming at Taco earlier. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers. If you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. You want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed the review. Hopefully enjoying a little Bolero Snort right now. And hopefully see you next time. Cheers.